So if you're getting any tightness or soreness in the shoulders doing, performing back squats, because it's just hard to get that arm rotated into external rotation, I'm going to show you a couple of stretches to work on to improve this position. The other option would be to go ahead and just change it to more of a, front squat position for a little bit. I mean, you could still work the arms, or sorry, you can still work the legs by doing, front squats if you're not able to get that bar behind you. But instead of just, completely avoiding it, let's figure out ways to improve this position, especially if you have a really low bar position on the back during your squats. Then you really need a lot of external rotation. So let's go ahead and practice a couple of stretches. All right, so we'll start with kind of some basic ones. I mean, I'm just gonna use a stick or like a baton of some kind of cane, and we can just start working into it in neutral and pushing that over there. But really, we need to get our arm up into this 90-90 position, because that's where that bar is going to rest. So sometimes I like to just bring it up into 90 this way, and I'm going to use my other arm as the pusher or the power. I'm just going to stretch back, pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off. I'm going to kind of work at stretching that external rotation. I can do it on both, on both sides, and kind of press in and out that way, in and out, working those, okay? Another way to do it would be if we take a bit of a band or a resistance, and this is kind of in the way here. Let's go like this. And I want to use it in a negative or an eccentric way. So you could think of this as kind of, strengthening the internal rotators. But really what I want you to do is let the band do the work and let it pull you back and stretch through there, nice and tall up through here, and then pull it, take the pressure off or the tension away, and let it just work back into that rotation. So that's another one that I would use a band for. So I'm not using it as a strengthening thing. I'm using it as an active stretching. It's helping me go backwards, and it's pulling back into rotation. So that's one way, or that's two ways right there. Let's go review a couple more ways. I want to talk about maybe some upper thoracic. Any kind of tightness in that upper back will stop our movements here, because if we're forward here, I just can't get back there. But as soon as I open up and kind of stretch out the chest and the upper back, then I increase motion through my shoulder without even working on the shoulder. That's just by stretching out the pec and that upper back to get ourselves back this way. So let's try a couple of those. Okay, let's do two kind of different ones that don't necessarily focus on the pure rotation, but will affect rotation, like we talked about just a second ago. Chest, so pec major, and then that upper thoracic or mid-thoracic spine, just tightness there. So if we want to kind of work into some shoulder or some pec, we can just block the arm, the forearm, and then kind of open and turn your body away and stretch that pec major, and that will kind of give us some improvement by not being so rotated or rounded in with tightness in through here. So let's work on that chest stretch, away, pressure on, pressure off. Hold it for a good 12-15 seconds, get a good stretch through there. Of course, I do on both sides of that. You put that other arm up there and do the same thing. The other one that I would use, it would be, I'm going to use the bar, but you can use a bench and then get on your knees, a chair, you can use the wall. But I like going into thoracic extension with my upper arms on this bar. And I'm going to kind of hold my head, and I'm going to let my chest sink down, and I'm going to lean up. I'm going to have my elbows toward the ceiling. I'm going to look up toward the ceiling, and I'm going to get that upper back to move and extend through there. So if we're tight in the upper back or in the chest, it's also going to block our rotation. So I like working on this one a lot, especially that thoracic spine will block that shoulder motion a lot. So those two, plus the band one and the pull one, that should be a good start to get you that rotation back, so that when you have that bar on your shoulders, you can concentrate obviously on the squat and not have to worry about, man, my shoulder's just getting tight and sore because I just don't have the mobility. Let's start there.